The miracle behind an unsold painting. There's a painting you've probably seen before. A farmer and his wife standing in a quiet field at dusk. Heads bowed in prayer. It's called the Angelus, and it was painted by the great French artist Jean-François Millet. But Millet wasn't always great. He was once poor, unknown, and struggling. Back then, no art critic believed in him. No galleries knocked on his door. But there was one man who always saw the light in his work. The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Millet's paintings rarely sold. He was starving, both in spirit and in life. Then one day, Rousseau came to visit. "My friend," Rousseau smiled. "Someone wants to buy your paintings." Millet was stunned. "Really? But no one has ever bought my work before." Rousseau chuckled gently. "I introduced your art to a gallery. They were so impressed, they gave me an advance, and asked me to choose a piece." He handed Millet 300 francs. It was the first time Millet had ever earned money from his art. More than that, it was hope. With that lifeline, Millet could eat, he could rest, and most importantly, he could paint. Years passed. Slowly, the world caught up with Rousseau. Millet's works began to sell, at high prices, to enthusiastic collectors. He finally had money and recognition. So one day, Millet visited his old friend Rousseau. And to his surprise, he saw his own painting, hanging quietly on Rousseau's living room wall. That was the moment Millet realized. There was no gallery. There was no buyer. The person who bought his painting was Rousseau himself. He had invented the story, just to protect his friend's pride. He didn't want Millet to feel like a charity case. He wanted him to feel valued. Millet stood there, speechless. His eyes welled with tears. He finally understood the depth of his friend's silent kindness. True friendship isn't loud. It doesn't always come with grand gestures. Sometimes, it simply shows up when you're hungry, and hands you hope, wrapped in dignity. Because real friends don't just lift you up, they make sure you still feel like you're standing on your own.